That's not going to be good.
It's going to be chaos for 7 minutes. Don't see it.
No, that'll be good.
Okay, today I'm going to try to convince you that sugar's bad for you. Don't do it. So I'm going to go into added sugar contains no essential nutrients and is extremely bad for your teeth. Sugars like sucrose and high fructose corn syrup contain high amounts of calories with no essential nutrients. Therefore, we're calling them empty calories. There are no proteins, essential fats, vitamins, or minerals in sugar, just pure energy. And it's not good energy. When people eat up to 10 to 20% of calories as sugar or more, this can become a major problem and contribute to nutrient deficiencies. Added sugar is high in fructose, which can overload your liver. In order to understand what is so bad about sugar, you need to understand what it's made of. Before sugar enters the bloodstream from the digestive tract, it's broken down into 2 simple sugars, glucose and fructose. Glucose is found in every living cell on the planet. If we don't get it from our diet, our bodies can produce it. Fructose is different. Our bodies do not produce it in any significant amount. There's no physiological need for it. The thing with fructose is that it can only be metabolized by the liver in significant amounts. This is not a problem if we eat a little bit, such as from fruit, or if we just finished an exercise session. In this case, the fructose will be turned into glycogen and stored in the liver until we need it. However, if the liver is full of glycogen, stop it, much more common, eating a lot of fructose overloads the liver, forcing it to turning the fructose into fat. So that's why when people think that fat creates fat, it's actually not true. Sugar creates fat because your liver turns it into fat. Repeatedly eating large amounts of sugar can lead to fatty liver disease and all sorts of other problems. Keep in mind that this does not apply to fruit. It is almost impossible to overeat fructose in the fruit form.
So you're just talking about processed sugar.
Just processed sugar. And
natural occurring sugar is fine. But just
yes.
Processed sugar.
Unless you're taking that natural occurring sugar and pulling it out of things and concentrating it. So even sugar comes from sugar cane, or they try to trick you by using agave nectar or things that are quote unquote natural. But when you're pulling it out of the fruit or out of whatever and you're concentrating it to make it a sweetener, then it's still acting like an additional sugar. What was your question?
So if you ate, is eating it out of the fruit, the metabolizing that counteract the fructose in it?
Right, because what you're actually doing when you're eating a piece of fruit, there's sugar in it, but it's in its natural form. It's got fiber, it's got water, it's got other things. So as you're eating it, the percentage of sugar to the water and to all the other stuff is not high. But when you take that fruit, you melt it down, you concentrate it, it may technically still be sugar from fruit, but it's really intense.
So if I ate 10 pineapples in one sitting, would that still be too much fructose?
Probably. It would probably still have an issue. But I think that you couldn't eat enough pineapple to really cause fatty liver disease, because by the time you ate enough pineapple to really hurt you, you'd be really sick.
From your body's perspective, if you were eating like some fruit compared to like drinking a soda or something, what is the difference?
The difference is soda is completely unnatural. There's nothing in soda that is found in nature, in a sense that it doesn't come in its purest form. It's either not by the time you manipulate it and put it in soda and make it bubbly. So even sugar that comes from sugar cane and they're turning it into these things, it turns it into soda. Technically, it was natural at one point, but by the time they do all the processing and refine it and break it down and put it in soda, it's no longer a natural product. As opposed to eating an apple, which has sugar in it, but it has all the other good stuff
That's
in your
natural sugar.
right. Which is why also nutritionists tell you that you probably shouldn't eat dried fruit because it's really concentrated sugar, and you could eat an apple that's going to fill you up. Or you could eat a whole bunch of apples that are dried. It would be the same amount bulk, but you're not getting the water. You're not getting the fiber, really. You might be getting some fiber. And it's way more sugar because it's concentrated and it's been dried down. A cup of fresh versus a cup of dried. The cup of dried is going to have a ton more sugar. And it's going to take up the same amount of room in your stomach. Does that make sense?
Yep.
How many minutes are we at?
You're at six
I do
minutes.
have one thing my nutritionist did tell me with type 2 diabetes and stuff. Not going all day with eating is actually worse than like maybe eating like a piece of toast or something, because I was not eating in the morning and thinking, oh well, I shouldn't have toast. But she said because if you don't eat all day, your liver starts producing I believe it was glycogen, and then turning into sugar and stuff, and it's hard on your liver. So even like sugar isn't good and carbs aren't great, but if you at least eat a piece of toast.
So are you talking about maybe eating something that doesn't really have any sugar in it?
No, I'm saying that eating something without sugar would be best, but if you have to eat a piece of toast or something in order to not go all day without sugar, it's better than going, like if you get up at 7 and then not eat until 2 or 4 or something in the afternoon. It's better to have a piece of toast, and yeah, it might have some carbs in it, but at least your liver isn't producing the sugar that your body needs, because your body does need some sort of
How about wine?
sugar. Wine is not a good thing that you should.
So sugar on top of that can cause insulin resistance, and it can be a stepstone towards metabolic syndrome and diabetes. So if you're eating too much sugar, your body's gonna produce a lot more insulin. It's gonna keep dumping insulin to combat the sugar, and when that happens, your body gets used to it, and it just continues to produce more and more and more, and then what you get is insulin resistance, because now your body is flooding itself with insulin to manage the sugar. And so what you really have to do at that point is cut out the sugar completely so that your body can eventually stop producing the insulin.
Exactly. And that's, yeah, exactly. That's